It's big, it's wood, and it's badass. Greetings, I'm John. This is Two Brothers RC, and this is the Precision Aerobatics Ultimate AMR 60 version 2. Quite the mouthful, but an amazing flyer. I've wanted the Ultimate AMR for a long time, so I finally got it as sort of an early birthday present for myself. Yeah, I'm 40 now, officially middle-aged, a sad, lonely man looking for confirmation that he can pilot a model airplane relatively well. At least I've got hair. It was a decent bit of work to build, like most precision aerobatics airframes are, but the result is nothing less than perfection. The Ultimate is just shy of 60 inches, but flies like something way bigger. The wing loading is absurdly low, some of the lowest that I've ever flown outside of profile foam board planes. It's got so much energy and power too. This really is the perfect biplane at this scale, which are big words coming from a guy who talks too much, but I stand by them. This absolutely is the perfect biplane at this scale.
Man, the build time on precision aerobatics models is lengthy, but it is absolutely worth every bit of time that I spent putting into this plane. Look at the way this thing flies in the wind. It's so slow. Good Lord. This is biplane perfection for me so far. I've always loved the little Ultimate from E-flite. And there's a strong wind, about 10, 15 miles an hour heading our way right now. This thing does not care. Look at it go.
If you've got any 3D experience, the Ultimate shouldn't be hard to handle for you. It's so locked in that any limitations you find with it are more likely a limit of your own skills rather than of the plane itself. The Ultimate showed me that I still have a lot of learning left to do before I can even consider myself proficient in 3D. I can do basic, intermediate, and advanced maneuvers, but stringing them together into a coherent demo is hard. But Ultimate makes it fun, challenging, and rewarding. SMC 2800 high-voltage batteries gave an average of 7 minutes of flight time, but the batteries were kind of obnoxious to install. Getting my hands into the area under the cabane was tough with limited clearance between the wing and the battery compartment. This was my least favorite part of the plane, but there's no other place the battery could go without making it tail heavy, so I can't hold that against it. I'll just grumble and install the battery because it's totally worth doing.
And that's how you get a battery into the PA Ultimate AMR version 2. It's a lot of work, but it's totally worth it. Oh my God, I will put up with that little bit of frustration if I can get something that flies as good as this thing does. It's insane.
This is my favorite single-motor airplane to hover. It's almost effortless. The look and feel of this gorgeous biplane torque rolling at low altitude commands your attention. If you're used to hovering, the Ultimate is a real treat. Get the nose up, use minimal inputs, and it'll stay put and spin around like a top. Moving into Harriers, I've flown a lot of planes that claim to have stable Harriers, and this is one of them that both claims it and produces it. It's easy to steer around with rudder and aileron input as you're holding back elevator pressure. Going inverted might be a little trickier for some pilots, but the plane is super forgiving and it stays locked in at the recommended center of gravity. Rudder and aileron input will always be needed to steer at low speeds. Rolling Harriers take very little stick input to successfully perform, and they look phenomenal too. The lower you get, the more impressive they are. It's unbelievably stable even in moderate winds. Now, look, I could bore you guys to death and go through and cover every single move that this plane can do that I'm capable of performing, or at least remembering. There's so goddamn many moves to think about anytime you fly 3D, but I think you get the point. Ultimate is a 3D plane. It flies like a 3D plane. The super lightweight construction makes it incredible for anyone wanting to push their skills and exceed their limits. Sometimes I don't mind if a plane has a little bit more wing loading to it, but this is one of those planes that would very obviously suffer from being heavier. It flies like it's got weight while being super controllable when you want it to be.
Scary. How it feels to chew 5 gum.
Before we go into this review a little bit further, I've got a few more clips of real-time chatting to play here, plus some more general thoughts on the airframe. Now, if you've never flown a lightweight 3D balsa plane before, the fear of missing out should be very real for you. It should feel like an unpaid bill in the back of your head, because for me, watching other people fly would, and I never had a chance to, felt like I was missing out. And that kind of sucked. Ultimate isn't what I would suggest starting off with as a balsa model, but it's something that I would suggest every serious 3D pilot should consider having in their hangar. It is something truly unique and special.
This thing is insane. I've never flown a plane as good as this. It's just so, even in this little bit of wind that we got, it's just so good. Whoa, wind shear. So it kind of tried to drop on us. But even in this little bit of wind, it's just handling so well. What do you think?
It looks pretty rock solid. Felt pretty rock solid from when I got hands on the 6 briefly. I mean, they say bigger flies better. Definitely seems to apply to these 3D planes.
Oh, absolutely. Everything you can fly, generally speaking, if it's bigger, it usually bites into the air better. It stays more planted in the sky. It's just better in every way that it matters. The smaller it is, the more agile it can be. But as you can see here, I think you can see that it just flies really good. I love 3D biplanes. It's just like the E-flite Ultimate, except it just flies way more planted in the sky. And you've seen me fly the E-flite Ultimate before. Like this, there's nothing wrong with the E-flite plane, but it can't compare to this. It's just impossible to compare. It's a huge price difference too.
Here's our grading criteria for big stiff woodies. The servos are great. I'd go as far as to say that they're outstanding even. The linkages are carbon fiber. They are annoying to set up, and you can't really adjust them after you've epoxied them in place, but they hold like steel and they weigh almost nothing. The covering is top-notch quality. Assembly at the field is pretty easy. What isn't easy is the build. I've mentioned this to Precision Aerobatics too. The most difficult part of a PA airplane is building it. The amount of gluing and other work that the factory could have done for you is very high. But PA airframes are also some of the lightest that I've ever flown. Imagine this Ultimate with gigantic wheels for a bush conversion. It would straight up doo-doo on a Fun Cub, and it uses way heavier batteries. The Ultimate gets a 4 out of 5 in the Fit Finish Setup section. The Ultimate has lightweight foam wheels with plastic hubs. The wheels have a little bit of give to them, which is needed since the plane has a stiff suspension. I normally complain about this with foam airplanes, but woodies generally need that stiffness to avoid prop strikes. Wooden props hitting pavement is bad. Stiff gear is par for the course with all aerobatic woodies. The gear are low maintenance and the gear struts are carbon fiber. The entire assembly is lightweight like everything else that PA makes. In this section, the Ultimate receives a 5 out of 5. The flight time is outstanding. I end up getting 7 or 8 minutes of pure enjoyment, and I feel annoyed that I have to land already when I start hearing 21 volts calling out on my radio. The Ultimate will make you think that 7 minutes is a short amount of time to fly. It absolutely spoils you. The Ultimate receives a 5 out of 5 in the flight time section. I mean, do we really even need to judge its agility by this point? Just look at it. It's agile. You can tell by the way that it is. But since we're doing metrics, it meets all of them. It flies easily in my runway corridor. It doesn't fight any of the inputs that I give it. The thrust to weight is just stupidly good. Harriers are clean and gorgeous, and it can do extreme aerobatics and 3D equally well. In the agility section, it receives a 5 out of 5. Overall, the Ultimate AMR receives a 19 out of 20. Once you get past the work to build her, she's worth all the effort.
That is quality. That is just phenomenal quality. Look at how gorgeous that thing is. Oh, I'm never not gonna have one of these. I will always have this as long as PA makes it. And that's just my first flight. Oh man. Perfection. It's perfection, it really is. That took me 4 days to build. It was worth every bit of time that I put into it. Every little bit of frustration that I put up with, every little bit of everything that I put up with for this plane. And the cost too. I had to pay for this one out of pocket. It was not cheap. I mean, look at it. It is probably the best looking plane that I own. Just the fit, finish, everything about it is impeccable. Listen to that motor. Whew. That is a mean airplane. Just absolutely beautiful. I can't imagine having a better biplane than this unless they scaled this up twice as big. That would be insane.
That wouldn't fit in the car.
It would not fit in the vehicle. We'd have to get a different car.
I've flown several biplanes, and this one blows them all out of the sky. There is no equal in this class. The Ultimate AMR is simply unparalleled. The sky is the limit in terms of what you can do. If you enjoyed this video, hop on over to precisionaerobatics.com and check out the Ultimate AMR 60. We don't work with PA in any affiliate capacity. I paid for this airplane out of pocket using ad revenue on YouTube. I like to reinvest some of the channel profits into showcasing things that you don't really see other YouTube channels demonstrating. There's more to model aviation than Horizon Hobby, FMS, Buddy RC, Arrows, etc. They're all great airplanes and I love working with those companies, but there is more to model aviation than what they sell. Expect to see more stiff woodies in the future as we continue finding awesome models to showcase for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.